looks like we're going to be starting off. Let's kick off with this Snorlax a little bit. Good old SWAT Phantom coming down in the berry suit with the 1-1-3 strats.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only sort of unconventional character here is Arceus with the Bulbasaur coming into Venusaur. But again, pretty standard positioning. You see the Cinderace in jungle, 1v1ing top, Lucario's fighting each other, pretty much as expected. Love seeing the early aggression from SWAT Phantom here. That's what you can boast of Snorlax in those early game stages. You can always be engaging those middle areas of the map. You can happily do so and try and steal those Ordinos. But it doesn't look like they're getting it for free either. They're getting heavily engaged here by Orange as well. So you do like to see both of them up in each other's faces here. Quick rest from Snorlax. He's back up to full. Arceus making his presence known as well, trying to get in good positions here to just try and take as many objectives as possible in these openings. And, just ahead of Bees coming in just a few seconds' time.
Yeah, Tamagotchi crew pressuring really well, despite the fact that, there's both heals and a Snorlax sitting on the other side. And they're applying some good pressure, able to come in and take one of those A-Palms here. And that's a Sing coming in. And we're going to see if they can convert on that blue with a Hyper Voice. And they do a considerable amount of damage and send blue team scrambling as just in time. That Raboot, essential to that push back to not get blown out of the water by that surprise Sing. As now the points are kind of rolling into that bottom goal zone for purple. SWAT Phantom grabbing the berries too. So now there's no escape valve there for our Tamagotchi crew as Blue and Egg Morning, yum, going ahead and push them back out after they already gave up some points there in their bottom goal zone. Can't feel too great about that.
Yeah,
trying to jump them, and then you end up getting jumped.
This is exactly how I like seeing Snorlax being played in these opening stages. You can be completely in the opponent's face, and even with slithers of hit points, you can be munching other people's berries and just staying in the mix, and even have time to make your own way back here. Really aggressive Snorlax play. We are seeing the evolution into Ivysaur as well, so a little bit more DPS now. Eldegoss is here ready and rolling as well. Top lane looks like one Lucario is just sort of being left on his own, as Cinderace is really chilling down this bot for a long time here. Was here as a Raboot, and it looks like he's still just trying to lay a trap to take some early KOs down bottom lane.
Absolutely, kind of trying to leverage this 4 versus 3 they have, and that's jumping in for a Sing for Tamagotchi crew, and again, not really able to convert, which kind of wonders what was their strategy there, as they could have really let that Wigglytuff hanging out to dry, but now this 4-on-3 is sliding as these players are getting bullied out of their own goal zone. Talonflame comes in and eats up a cotton ball, and that Snorlax is forced to retreat into the grass as Egg Hiroki trying to do their work, and they do end up picking up a KO there. Now there's a couple people on purple team that are falling. We saw the Ivysaur go down. That Snorlax was picked up, and now Essential's just like, I guess I'll get some farm because I got 3 seconds till Dreadnaught's here, and that's a push we're gonna have to make. Battleside Joe bullying a little bit, getting the Audinos, and no resistance from purple team as Tamagotchi crew goes straight for the Dreadnought, using the Sing to bubble him out to close the door on it, and they're using those buffs and they're pushing. Here we go. That's a Unite move from Chaotic. Ed Hiroki on the edge. Excuse me, as Eldegoss is able to take a KO on Lucario. That's 4 down, and now there's points that can go in. Just a heavy slam, taking a Lucario, but they're playing some D. They're trying to do their best as they finally KO'd, and that goal zone is also not long for this world.
That was some clean bottom laning play, especially from Talonflame there as well. I think a big Unite move at the right time, caught a lot of characters, got some crucial KOs in there, and it looks like Purple there rolling up top to try and take this Rotom as a token prize after the Dreadnought was quite thoroughly and easily lost. The really aggressive Sing plays from the Wiggly coming in clutch here, really slowing down Purple in their endeavors here. But it does look like Rotom has been claimed from a really aggressive push. The entire team is at top lane for both teams here. Cinderace got to stay really careful here, as does the Eldegoss. Needs to heal up his buddy here because they are engaging in a big fight block, not getting the job done. Sweet Phantom just stays alive here. Jarrama also needs to get some hit points. Looks like they're sticking to their own goal zone, making sure it stays up with just those 3 points remaining. They've defended that very nicely, especially because there was 2 teams in their full, both up top. And it looks like now we're starting to see a roll back down here. Lucario doing his own thing. Purple making sure they keep their own farm here because they are slightly behind on a couple levels here and there. We do want to see this Ivysaur become a Venusaur pretty soon, get to that level 9 if it can. And obviously getting themselves in a decent position here for Dreadnought, as Orange are tearing their way through the jungle now to get back down this bot lane.
Yeah, Talonflame trying to make a play, able to use the Unite move to hit the Ivysaur and the Pokemon that they're actually trying to KO there. And just another great Unite move by Chaotic, that Talonflame. And I'm not going to lie to you, Orange kind of tipped their hand on how they're trying to do if they're late to an objective. Send in Wigglytuff, try and close it out with the Talonflame. They just missed it, that Rotom, but let's see if they can execute it here on this Dreadnought. They're taking this team fight, and that is a bunch of buddy barriers getting kicked off as Eldegoss on Eldegoss crime happens. That's 3 down on the purple side, and that's a Unite move by Morning to heal some of their squad, and they immediately go for that Dreadnought as they are all over it here. One player on purple didn't quite identify who that was. Of course, that's the Snorlax that was trying to close it out with a heavy slam and a block, but they get taken down, and that Dreadnought is taken out as now Orange team is collectively rolling upstairs. They don't care about any of this farm. They're going to take it all. Talonflame jumping from the respawn point, going to get there because Rotom is here in 3 seconds. Lucario for the purple squad. Jairama there first. Going to try and get a couple points in before those teams roll up, because here it's time to square off on that Rotom. Just Chaotic falling from the skies and taking the bees, trying to take these objectives. And I'm just interested how Egg Hiroki here uses this Sing to try and close out the Rotom. But of course, as I say that, Purple's getting pushed back down the lane, and I don't think anybody's really started Rotom because they're seeing the pressure is on. Let's get our KOs. Snorlax forced to take a nap in the middle, and Venusaur finally evolves, and they're firing solar beams from the distance here as Lucario gets isolated. And you'd like to think they'd be able to seal up this KO, but they're still standing somehow. Bone Rush and E-Speed getting them out of the jam, and SWAT Phantom going, please, can we pressure something? Let's roll up. Who's got me? Hiroki goes, Snorlax, I heard you like to sleep, buddy. You do it on your own. How about I help you out? And they're KO'd by the Sylveon on that front here, and Rotom is sent down the lane. What is happening to Purple?
Yeah, another key objective taken for Orange here. Wiggly really just locking up with that Sing, stopping you getting anywhere near. Lucario doing really well to stay in the fight there as well. Was sort of trapped by Swap, but not taken down. Was able to weave away. Talonflame scoring easily down bot lane as the points are rolling in for Orange, getting to the 3-minute mark on the clock remaining, and one more Dread potentially coming up a little bit soon. And Jairama is going to deny the easy bees from Orange down here, pushing back the Eldegoss, and is a little bit underleveled themselves here. If they want to be stealing these key objectives, they need to be higher than level 11, really. But they are in a decent spot to 1v1 against Sylveon here down this bot lane if they want to engage. Venusaur as well making its way down. And everyone, in fact, is peeling as Orange are following a purple team here as we are focusing on this Dreadnought.
Yeah, I mean, Eldegoss gets taken out, and I was just about to say that's one of the key components on your team. And Cinderace gets taken out on the way down. Orange maybe just forsaking this Dreadnought and saying, while your focus is on one way, we're going to come at you from the side, and they're able to take KO, and the Venusaur goes down too. Jairama getting chased right now, and now SWAT Phantom has 3 on their back. Blue, Hiroki, and Egg Morning coming after them, and they're going to try to make to those berries, and they have to Unite move. Zapdos is here, but they are nowhere close, and they're forced to Unite move just to survive, and they're trying to make their way to a berry using the block to do so, but that's still a 3-on-1, and you can see those life bar just melt away as it's finally closed out by the Leaf Tornado. And we're watching Arceus trying to make a play in, but they get jumped on by the Firebird, and they're used to Unite move, and they only get 2 people with that as they're working their way in. We see another Unite move from Lucario coming through across the screen, and another one as all these buddy barriers are flaring off, and it might be a tipping point here as we're watching the first member of Blue go down. That's the Cinderace. The second member of Blue go down. That's the Eldegoss. And now Jairama's getting chased by Battleside Joe, and Battleside Joe does have the level advantage by a lot, has the AP advantage by a lot, and we're just going to give chase here as Jairama is just trying to make their way out, and you can see Orange is all over the middle of your map here. Jairama going to get taken out. Chaotic making a burst. I thought they were going to make a burst for the middle goal zone there and just start getting points in the mean way, as there is a forfeiture here because this game has slid way too far out of control. Tamagotchi crew, I'll tell you what, they look pretty darn good, and if they repeat that performance in game 2, you know we're squaring up for a game 3.
Yeah, that was a really, really great play. Egg doing great work in there. Also, Battle Joe, as you said, the Lucario getting extremely aggressive, just wanting to 1v1 anyone that he sees, really, just not really even worrying about the objective, just fighting, using his level advantage, puffing out his chest and just trying to fight anything and bone rushing and parrot punching straight into them and just chasing them down, not giving them any time. Some amazing ganks there from Talonflame as well. It was aggressive. You never really saw it get caught out of position, and it got some key knockouts really far away from the objective as well, really being aggressive, going beyond the Dreadnought, beyond the Rotom, into the opponent's territory, so that they can defend their own objectives and just slowly chip away at them with the other characters. Wigglytuff as well, instrumental in those early objective fights.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Talonflame doing great work, using their Unite move meticulously, never really getting caught or catching a receipt for those big plays. And of course, that Wigglytuff, it almost seemed like those two players were always playing in conjunction, not necessarily on the map together, but when they did group up, we saw that big Unite move, right before the Dreadnought, clearing out 3 players from Phantom. And then Wigglytuff, as they were trying to break to Dreadnought to try to make a last play, just pops out with the Sing and puts the snooze on, and they're able to close that Dreadnought. So we're going to get ready for game 3. We got 2 minutes, Joe. So real quick, let's use this time to discuss here. What can Phantom do? We didn't get to watch game 1. We certainly saw how game 2 panned out. What adjustments does Phantom need to make to try and get this to slide back in and take the 2-1 victory?
It's a tricky one, really. Trying to accommodate for the likes of Talonflame isn't really traditional, conventional, those sorts of things. Wigglytuff was getting a lot of work done in there as well, whereas their own team composition is much more usual. I think it's unusual maybe to see a Venusaur, especially a Sludge Bomb Venusaur. Not very common compared to what you're normally seeing, the Giga Drain and Petal Dance. So I would like to see potentially that switch up with the Venusaur, so it could be that little bit more effective. Mm-hmm. But again, it's just key objective fights where you need to come together. We did see some 5-on-5 fights up at Rotom and down by that Dreadnought, but you really have to be focusing not necessarily on the boss monsters themselves, but winning your team fights, and just getting some extra CC in there would be pretty helpful, I think, for them, because that's something that may be a little bit lacking. That's what you lose by playing Venusaur compared to like a Sylveon or a Low and Ninetales potentially, where you can have some extra slows in there. You can try and have some CC for those big 5-on-5s.
I mean, you took the words out of my mouth. They got to adjust, because Talonflame has the one of the strongest characters to be able to penetrate into the back line and get after your Cinderace that likes to sit in the back and crank up the DPS. Even your Eldegoss. Leaf Tornado is a very, very underrated and overwhelming attack at times, especially to send the team in right on a burst of speed. And they need to be able to adjust, understanding that if that Talonflame is on the comp on the other side of the board, okay, what adjustments do we need to make? So if that Talonflame does unite, that it doesn't take out our support Pokemon and our highest DPS character that we have on our squad at the same time, because that makes it tough sledding when you're trying to close objectives, and that Talonflame is able to isolate 2 players out like that in combination with that Wigglytuff. Look, I'm not seeing a lot of changes out of Tamagotchi crew. I don't know how game 1 went, but if I'm them game 2 and I take that in a vacuum, I'm feeling pretty freaking good about what we're bringing to the table. And if I'm there, I'm just saying, hey, just don't let the sand slide through our fingers too much, and let's just walk away with this one, and let's forget about game 1, whatever that one happened to be.
Yeah, and I think positional play as well is really important, especially when you're coming up against Talonflame. Its attack style is like really linear, and especially with its Unite moves that likes to spam, it's got a really low cooldown. So if you're coming in like literally as a line in your characters, we saw how sometimes Ivysaur was KO'd at the same time as that Cinderace, and it was like a big swing almost. It took down the 2 bottom lane defenders really.
I mean,
yeah,
buzzsaw in a butcher shop. It's cutting them all in half. I mean, Talonflame did a lot of work in there, and there was a lot of fun to watch. And we even saw them show up late to Rotom on that first Rotom, and almost close that out with that combination of send Hiroki in to put using Sing and try and close the door with Talonflame. So Phantom has a lot to contend with here. I will like to say, SWAT Phantom, their Snorlax, I mean, they carried more weight than a Snorlax ever should have the reason to. They did well. They were moving well. They were staying up. They were staying at objectives. They were making key plays. I mean, they were, as you mentioned, they were pressuring early, able to get past the goal zone to snatch the berries and use that passive there and work their way back into their team. And the first couple minutes of the game looked Moreland not able to pull up and use the synthesis to pick them up. And that is a rare KO you see on a Snorlax early here, as now Orange is going to be able to put tons of pressure back onto Phantom and get that resolved. SWAT Phantom coming in a little late, but that's not before a couple points were put in. And you already see the Sylveon is Kung Fu kicking on the right side of your screen there. And now SWAT Phantom is just content taking this core fish. And they might be late for bees. I don't know how they pressure these. It's going to be on the back of RQs here to really do that. Is that Talonflame just literally waiting in the wings to just pounce as Hiroki comes in with the sing and isolates out? And now they not only take the most of the bees, they're mowing these HPs down, and everybody's scrambling. RQs and SWAT Phantom, and Moorland all stuck in their own goal zone as Orange gets to comfortably retreat and get ready for Dreadnought here in a minute and a half as they feel very content. Their level's a little bit higher and they're going to be pressuring a little bit.
Yeah, really early aggression from Fletchinder from jungling helped gank that SWAT Phantom early and even put pressure on the likes of Arcus and Moorland, who are now back scrambling again because Egg is putting on more Sing pressure, pushing them all the way back to their own goal zone, resting up yet again in the goal zone, and more experience points just goes the way of Egg and Blue, and they are putting a lot of pressure on, even seeing another rest on Snorlax, defenseless right now, but stays in the fight, just about gets out of there. Moorland as well, just about hangs on, but they are being pushed right back into their own goal zone here. The only thing they can really grab is Corefish. Everything else has been taken away from them.
Yeah, I mean, grabbing another Corefish is a sad state of affairs when you just watch the Orange team not only bully you back in your goal zone, but take all your side of the field's farm as well. And, 32 seconds here until Dreadnought. But, of course, we still have the 720 Bs to come and this contestable Audino. But Orange, they just want it all. And I think they might have taken that one as well. As I don't think it was SWAT Phantom that was able to take it. As we work through, and Hiroki using Sing, that's one they could isolate, maybe close the door on. Moorland setting a Leaf Tornado to try and do so. But now Blue, Morning, and Hiroki coming in to try and get the rest of these Bs here. SWAT Phantom, again, we just keep seeing their life bar go down, down, down. And they're going to need all the HP they can get if they want to contest this Dreadnought here, as finally they're able to take an Audino from their side of the board.
Yeah, and it looks like Cinderace coming to join in, Lucario coming down for Orange, leaving their own Lucario up top. No one chasing down Rotom. Looks like Lucario is getting some points in, but actually is doing a late roll down by the looks of things. Will they be able to get here in time before the Dreadnought is engaged? I imagine that we'll see Purple just try and get in the area, but not actually engage the Dreadnought, as they are getting the fight brought to them by Orange. 3 big KOs.
And then you saw the Unite move come back the other way. I don't think it paid dividends, but it was flashy. It was an exclamation point on the 3 KOs they just took, that's for sure. Ja Ram, they're just interested in staying in their goal zone. As you see, all of Orange is on there. Egg Hiroki, they're sandbagging that Sing, so they can go ahead and take care of whoever steps up. And they decide to use it now and put RQs to sleep as they are able to take them down. The Wigglytuff themselves do the job here. Joe on the retreat here. Ja Ram putting the pressure on there. They'll be able to close the door out on there. Getting a little of a retribution KOs. 2 from Orange are down. And now just Talonflame sitting in the base. And Purple able to swing a little bit. Get some of those points in. Now, we're watching the scoreboard. A lot of work was done up top here by the Purple team. 111 to 53. So although Orange team is moving well and got that first objective, they are still behind on the scoreboard. Not insurmountable, but it's going to be interesting to see if they are aware and how they adjust. Talonflame coming in, going to knife the bees from the skies. Bug type, weak to flying. I don't know if you knew that, Joe, but that one just happened right there. Ja Rama with that Bone Rush hanging out. Egg Hiroki and Morning able to get some points in. Looks like there's heavy score shields on the Orange side. And look at that lead that I just spoke about melt away and disappear. Literally in the length of my sentence here.
And looks like Purple are completely abandoning their top lane right now. Rotom was sent down there. There's easy points for Sylveon and potentially Talonflame. They're also in stealing some of their experience as well. We're finally seeing a late defense from Lucario, Pikachu, Cinderace rolling back up, but it means that Snorlax is trying to defend on his own. There's quite a few of members here trying to score. Hiroki has been very aggressive and annoying, but might get caught out of position here, especially with a big block from this Snorlax. But it does look like Morning is able to help out there and keep it nice and healthy, so is going to have to settle for Audino instead. Essentials is down here as well as Pikachu, so looks like they're gearing up for this next Dreadnought in just about 15-20 seconds time, and it looks like both Lucarios are coming down for the ride as well.
Yeah, both Lucarios rolling down. 4-on-4 is here, and Dreadnought just a couple seconds away from getting this going. And Orange puts a little bit of impetus, and that's a chaotic seeing Jarama come down and jump on them. Not worse for wear, though. I would like to see a little bit of a bigger receipt getting caught there, and that is a huge Unite move from Jarama, sent down the lane, boosting up those buddy barriers and chipping a little bit of damage. Everybody's still standing for both sides, as all 5 players for both squads are here, and that Audino is gone. The Audino has just gotten in the way of this team fight and was just eviscerated. And I love Joe infiltrating and backing up. Hiroki using Sing, going to try and get there. They're a little bit isolated, caught out of position again. That's twice in the last 90 seconds here. Talonflame Unite move. Oh, they pick up 3 of them. That's a KO on the Eldegoss, or excuse me, on the Wigglytuff, a KO on the Pikachu. Jarama picking up that Cotton Guard, and they're working their way in. And finally, they start working on Dreadnought. Orange team was there first, but now the pressure is on as Purple's trying to close it out. Jarama comes in, and Talonflame seals the door. The thing that Talonflame is so good at, the closer, able to seal that up. RQs and everybody now sent scrambling. I bet Purple had thought they had a very good chance on that one, and we already see the Wigglytuff for Tamagotchi crew upstairs and working on that, and we see our Snorlax from Purple trying to go up and pressure a little bit as Orange is moving up to that objective a little bit faster than Purple.
Yeah, absolutely. Lucario again getting an easy 50 dunk in down that bottom lane as well. Their point advantage is just getting even better for them. But it does look as though Purple has been able to defend this Rotom. It wasn't just wiggly, not enough DPS really to pressurize that Rotom early enough. As we are seeing again, just a big Unite move from the Snorlax, and also getting in here, trying to block back some of these orange teams, maybe get Lucario stuck in the mix here, as it is able to get out of there and actually take a KO on the Lats at the same time. That is the power of that Bone Rush. You think you're trying to make a quick getaway, you get straight back in the mix and take those big KOs. No. Moreland as well, also caught, as looks like it's Jarama, who's back in his own jungle. Arcus and Swap Phantom there at this top lane, but they're not engaging the Rotom, which is slowly getting chipped away at. Again, it's the likes of Talonflame which has taken this.
This is tough stuff. This is tough, Joe. They've split. They're going to have to split the Purple team here. They need to say, hey, do we want to let this Rotom get all the way to that goal zone? And once this timer hits under 2 minutes and allow a bunch of easy double dunks, because we're also behind by 140-ish points here, a little less, and we need to get Zapdos too, or at least we need to start thinking about back capping. So they are literally being split in 3 different directions. And if you're not coordinated enough as a team, that can go south bad. And we already see the Talonflame getting a hundo burger downstairs. That's Duckets, baby, as that Unite move from the Pikachu comes through, and they're going to try and leverage that. Eldegoss taken to the skies, and they're going to just blast into the ground, throwing cotton spores all over the place. Buddy barriers are up, and buddy barriers are going crazy. Moreland in the background going to pick up. The Lucario for Orange is down. That's important. That's a great heavy hitter that they have in these team fights using that E-speed. Moreland on the retreat, though. They're getting chased by Chaotic. Orange feeling that they don't actually need Zapdos, which is a good read on the situation, putting the pressure onto the other team as Moreland goes down to Chaotic, but now there's 2 down on Orange, and Essentials needs to get into the mix here. And if they're going to close this Zapdos out, it might be on the back of Essentials, and that's a Unite move fired into the Wigglytuff. Sylveon goes down, and we're waiting them to come off respawn. Chaotic bullying Essentials a little bit as they are taken out by Chaotic, and now Purple working it in, RQs and SWAT Phantom working through this Zapdos, but not before the Lucario Battleside Joe is back in the mix, and they've been e-speeding all over the place. So is John Rama. They're trying to do their best impression here of somebody that can carry this game, and unfortunately sent scrambling to a goal zone they don't even have anymore. Now Orange putting the pressure on. Leaf Tornadoes coming in. That's a big block, but paying dividends to who? Egg Hiroki coming in. They just used their sleep, didn't really catch anybody. Now Swap Phantom's on a retreat from 4. All of them are chasing them down, and Swap Phantom is no way long for this world as they hit the swivel on Battleside Joe and Egg Morning. They're pushing all of Orange back on Zapdos. 17 seconds left on the clock. Zapdos is no longer a factor, Joe, as I think Tamagotchi crew forgot about game 1, remembered game 2, and brought the heat for game 3, sealing this one up 2-1.
Yeah, absolutely solid play. Well done, Kirk, for talking your way through that last 2 minutes, because there was a ton of action, a ton of engaging the entire time from Tamagotchi, because they just really wanted to be aggressive there. They had to engage everyone, make sure that there wasn't a big, just like a one-off coin flip team fight over that Zapdos. They were running down the clock, but they were doing it proactively. They were getting all the way into the opponent's jungle at some points, as you saw going aggressive on the for the Elder Goss, not letting them have it for free. Talonflame's so easy at having that maneuverability of getting back into the swing of things when it needs to, putting distractions here, there, and everywhere. Rotom coming down top lane, Talonflame scoring 100 down bot, and there's also Zapdos being engaged in the middle. Just so much to split the team up, so there was never just a big 5-on-5 towards the end, because that's when things get chaotic. That's when everyone just hits the Unite move. Some people go down. Whoever's left remaining ends up sweeping the Zapdos. Don't let it come to that. Separate the teams, make sure that they're split up and they can't really engage together. And that's a great way to defend in those last few minutes.
Very well said. Tamagotchi crew executing their plan game 3. It looked clean. It was clean, and that's a clean win, putting them ahead 2-1. Let's kick it back over to Desk, get a little bit of conversation about that match, and see what we've got coming on store next. Coming on store next. That's a sentence that I just said.
Welcome back here to the desk. Great match we saw between Tamagotchi crew and Phantom Squad. Tamagotchi crew getting the upset on Phantom Squad. I'd be curious to see how that game 1 went, as they did lose the first game, but sure enough, the next 2 games were in the hands of Tamagotchi crew, as they took them all very handily. So let's break that game down, guys. What did you guys notice throughout the match that kind of turned the tide for Tamagotchi crew?
So I was looking at the score in that third game, and it was about even, but then I looked at the levels, and Tamagotchi crew was just 1 to 2 levels up across the board. They seem to be not prioritizing actually scoring points early, and just let's get as high level as we can and then carry that over. So it looked to me, that was my assumption on what happened in game 2 as well. I wasn't looking at it as much as I was in game 3, but they looked like they were giving some to the other team, letting them score a bit, do what they wanted a little bit. But as soon as they felt like they had that level advantage, they said, no more. Everything else is ours, and you're going to have to deal with that. And that's basically what happened.
Yeah. For me, what it looked like out of Tamagotchi crew, I saw so much coordination from that team in juxtaposition to their opponent. I mean, any time that Phantom Squad was stepping slightly out of position, whether it was their main tank separating a little bit or just some of their DPS trying to overcommit to a boss secure, every single time they were getting shut down by Tamagotchi crew. Whether it was, often it was that chaotic on that Talonflame. Yeah. They were the judge, jury, and executioner in that game. The amount of chaos, I wish we could have seen that final scoreboard, but unfortunately not in our spectate mode yet. But yeah, chaotic on that Talonflame was dealing out the damage, as well as the other team just never being out of position, making sure that they're pressuring those goal zones early when they're early and open, them just giving them so much more of a just red carpet off towards the end of the victory. And then even in that game 3, when the points were a lot closer in that game 2, they did not flub the game when it came down to Zapdos. They were able to make sure that they secured that game and was able to just take team fight after team fight in the end. Got a little hairy one time, but they were able to punish just a few mistakes out of Shadow in the center zap pit near the end, able to punish and then just make sure that win was wrapped up in a nice bow. I thought it was just, for me, it's coordination in this game was what gave them the win.
And I think one of the big things that speaks to that coordination is if you watch the map, teams were rotating towards top, they'd send someone that had 50 balls to the bottom, get a free score. I think they did that probably 3 times, and they scored probably almost 200 points just for free, unopposed. And then the other 4 went top, said, hey, we don't need to fight. We just need to make sure they don't take the objective. So they played more of a stalling game to let that person rotate back up. And then as soon as they rotated back up, press that gas pedal and just say, okay, we're all here now. Have fun. We're all here. 5v5 us. You can't.
I'll definitely agree that Chaotic the Talonflame was definitely the MVP of that round for sure, most valuable Pokemon. Total control in that game, great communication overall. I love how they moved around and kind of just decided when to attack.